Nintendo makes great games, we all know that. So when Nintendo themselves comes out and announces something like this, you know it's gotta be good. To save you from clicking towards the end of the video, I give 3D All-Stars Collection an 8 out of 10. The games in the collection are fantastic, but for it being the 35th anniversary for Mario, I really wanted them to add a little bit more into these beloved titles. However, if it's your first time playing these games, then by all means go ahead and have some fun. I myself had never played any of these titles when growing up. Unfortunately, I was one of those Call of Duty kids back in the day. I was always playing games that either my older brother had or what everyone in my friend group was playing. I never really cared too much about single player games, but once high school dissolved and I realized I didn't have the luxury of coming home to an Xbox Live party of 8 friends just wanting to talk to me, I knew that I had to get into some different titles. That's when Nintendo entered my life, officially. You see, I always knew about these games growing up, just I never had the time to play them. And now that the world is the way that it is, I can officially say that I have ample time to play these older titles that I never really had the chance to indulge in. So when this collection was announced, I knew I had to finally see what everyone was talking about all those years ago. And so, here's what I think about the new 3D All-Stars Collection. The first game that you have the privilege to play on your Switch is Super Mario 64. This game originally came out on September 29th, 1996 for North America. That's 24 years ago. This game came out before I was born. It was one of the main titles Nintendo pushed out onto their system. And Lord, did they push this out. Are you watching the same gameplay that I am? Are you listening to this music? The game looks dated, sure, whatever. Nintendo didn't fix the graphics for the Switch port, but the movement, the music, the core game itself, the game doesn't need to be fixed. It's perfect the way it is. It's insane that this game came out in 1996. I wish this was my first gaming experience, because I promise nothing could top this during its time. Mario 64 takes a player on a journey with Mario, trying to save Princess Peach. It's a tale as old as time. The story was very simple to follow. You jump through some paintings, you go through each level collecting all the stars you can find, until the main baddie himself, Bowser, wants to fight. You do this a couple times, and in the end, you save the girl. So how does the game hold up on the new collection? Well, I mean, it's pretty much Mario 64 as you remember it, and the game itself is still there in its original form. Scratch, almost. It kind of is. Kind of. You see, the original version had a certain speedrunning strategy in it called the BLJ, which is this. And now you can't do that. Also, Mario no longer says this after throwing Bowser. So as long as you're not planning on speedrunning this game and trying to get the world record, you should be fine. But honestly, even this hasn't stopped the speedrunning community since they've already found a workaround. The game basically takes all the check marks that you remember from 64 and just ticks every single one again. I myself had an amazing time playing this game, and the only thing I can really say that annoyed me was the camera. I'm talking to you, Lakitu. It gets in the way a few times. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of annoying, and sure, the noise it makes whenever you turn the camera is a little frustrating. But later in the game, you learn how to overcome the camera and get used to that old style gameplay. The noise, on the other hand, it's still annoying most of the time when you're playing. So if you're playing this game to just simply relive the nostalgia factor or play it for the first time like I was, then it's definitely an experience to have today. Not only will you enjoy this game on a handheld device, but it'll make you think about how well it's aged. Now, one game that hasn't aged particularly well is Mario Sunshine.
Super Mario Sunshine! Woohoo!
Okay, oh, that's the wrong song. 1 second. Now, before anyone in the comments starts to type a 5-page essay on why I'm wrong, let me stop you there. I really did enjoy this game. I really did. End of the day, I give it an 8 out of 10. However, the game is frustrating. You see, in Mario Sunshine, Mario and Peach, accompanied by the Toads, are flying to the Isle of Delfino. But when you land here, the plane has to make an emergency landing. Apparently, the island is being terrorized by some shadow man that looks awfully similar to Mario. Once getting off the plane, Mario is met with his new companion known as FLUDD, which stands for Flash Liquidizer Ultra Dousing Device. It's a lot to say, so we're just gonna call him FLUDD. The new partner for Mario is the entire game's mechanic. With FLUDD, Mario can squirt water, hover with it, and even propel himself into the air. Combining a lot of these techniques, Mario can utilize a whole arsenal of water movement like he's a waterbender from Avatar. After getting FLUDD, you are slowly introduced to all types of levels that utilize the backpack of water. I would say at first this new style of gameplay in comparison to 64 was very intriguing. I was excited to jump, slide around like I always had a water park on my back. But sometimes mechanics didn't agree with me at all. Sure, the game did come out in 2002, but out of all the games in this collection, this one was definitely the hardest one. And not in terms of just movement, but just level design as well. This game really wants to make you think, and coming from the other Mario games that I've played in the past, most of it was pretty linear, which is why I believe I struggled the way I did. You see, each level is laid out with a simple task for you to complete. It's up to the player to figure out just exactly how they want to do that. They don't show you an imaginary path on where to go, just a quick cutscene at the start of the level and the title for the level saying what it's about. Some levels are collecting coins, easy, I love those. Others involved you to really use mechanics in new and exciting ways. I looked forward for those. But then the game does a 180 and puts you into the area where you did all of these easy tasks and then you're just stuck. The game allows you to explore any world in any way, but never tells you the proper way to do it. Apparently I needed Yoshi for one course but never unlocked him yet, and they never told me that I needed him to be unlocked beforehand. I kept experiencing this gaming moment where you did what you thought you were supposed to do, and what you thought was a solution, but it just didn't work. Well, it turns out that I had the right idea, just the game either bugged out or didn't register what I was doing. It could have been me, or button inputs. I just thought I should mention that in case you felt the same way. Now, being a game that came out in 2002, it's not going to blow anyone away in terms of graphics. However, they did fix the aspect ratio and cleaned up a bit of the anti-aliasing to make those edges just a little bit smoother. And putting aside all the stuff that frustrated me, which was like 10% of the game, most being towards the end, I would say Mario Sunshine is a fantastic experience. In fact, after beating it, I just realized how good of a game it really was. Sure, it was difficult, and yeah, I may have raged a couple times during my stream, but when you really start to get into the flow of how the movement is really supposed to be used, creatively thinking about how to utilize the FLUDD, you start to feel like you're playing the game on autopilot, and that sensation is the best to have in gaming. Then once you've had your fun in Sunshine and the credits are rolling, you realize that the Isle of Delfino was a playground for you to explore and to really soak up the sun. You stare at those credits, you see that thank you end screen, you remember all the fun you had while playing it, and you ask yourself, how could they possibly top this game? Well, let me tell you about Mario Galaxy. The song currently playing is Gusty Garden, and it's the sole reason why I wanted to play Mario Galaxy before the 3D collection even was announced. I talked to myself on stream saying I wanted to get an emulator to play Mario Galaxy, but I never got around to doing it. And then Nintendo blasted me with this game announcement by saying, hey, we heard you wanted to play Galaxy, love it. Here's 2 free games alongside with it. This game works beautifully on Nintendo Switch. And if this is one of the reasons why you also want to get the 3D collection, or you're just thinking about it just because of Mario Galaxy, by all means just buy it now. Mario Galaxy takes Mario and places him in a situation where Bowser, as tradition, kidnaps Princess Peach and blows up a planet that Mario is on. Can Mario breathe in space? Well, apparently in this game he can. He can do a whole lot of things in this game, like transform into a bee? Where the game takes you next is the hub world, where Mario has access to all types of planets and galaxies. Once arriving in this hub world, you're greeted by Rosalina, the space princess of Nintendo, accompanied by her little stars known as Lumas. These cute little stars aid you along your journey throughout the galaxy set before you. Go ahead and feed some, and new levels are added into the game. The pacing of the game is very simple to follow. Each galaxy has a couple of planets and bonus stages. You unlock more planets and stages by collecting the stars throughout the levels. The mechanic with this game, since it did come out on the Wii in 2007, is motion control. Galaxy utilizes the motion controls by having a cursor on screen at all times, which is controlled either by your Joy-Cons, your Pro Controller, or having it handheld and just tapping the screen. You use the cursor to capture star bits, and these star bits are then used later in the game to unlock more galaxies, which house even more levels inside of them. The continuous progression in this game, accompanied by beautiful music and intoxicating gameplay, creates a recipe for success. I played through this entire game, and never once did my smile break. Galaxy just has a certain charm to it that makes me want to pick it back up and start it all over again. After completing the main story, which took me around 8 to 12 hours, I really didn't expect anything else after the credits were done. I couldn't have been more wrong. Apparently, there are more galaxies, planets, and bonus levels to explore. Also, did I forget to mention that all the past levels have a chance to have a comet spawn over them? A comet takes the past level that you beat and adds a gameplay twist to them, whether it be faster enemies, one life mode, or a time trial. The game just keeps adding on to it. And what's insane is that even after you beat all of that, there's still more. Without giving away too much information, let's just say the game is pretty much packed full with content. Mario Galaxy was a treat to play on stream, and I really hope Nintendo releases Mario Galaxy 2 sometime on the Switch in the near future. I went into playing all of these games with zero expectation. I knew in some degree that Mario Galaxy was a phenomenal game. What I didn't know was going to happen is just how I was going to fall in love with Mario games all over again. Super Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy are probably the best games I have played in recent years. Nintendo just knows how to make a game, music that makes you feel, and gameplay that keeps you entertained until the credits start to roll. They know how to make a game that makes a player feel new but comfortable at the same time. So if you're still on the fence about getting any of these games, I hope I encourage your decision. And when I went looking for music to use in the background for this video, I saw one comment that really stood out to me, that perfectly captures what these games make you feel when you play them. These are the kind of games where you don't realize you've been smiling until you slowly feel it fade away.